A good course for ADHD, it doesn't try to turn you into someone you're not, but helps you to know yourself and take advantage of your strengths so that you can then move forward in life with maximum potential. I invite you to check out the ADHD Club in action at the first link in the description. It's sad to see people judging my 4-year-old son with ADHD from me and not knowing the advantages like hyperfocus, intuition, and discipline. According to Berkeley, there is a certain myth about hyperfocus. What people call hyperfocus in ADHD is actually perseverance. Berkeley's view was very well explained in one of his lectures, and I fully agree with it. It's like this. Anyone can have that so-called hyperfocus. It's when you get into an enjoyable activity and spend hours there, battling, working on it until you achieve exceptional performance, until you complete the task with care. Don't get distracted what happens. Anyone can have that. But with ADHD, this is very pronounced. It's very much an all or nothing situation. Either you're extremely distracted by activities you don't like, or you're extremely present for the activities you do enjoy. And then you use that so-called hyperfocus. But why is that name incorrect? Because in fact, it's not the gift of ADHD. It's not a gift, it's not something like that. Look, you have ADHD, so you got a kit called hyperfocus. I'm going to install it in your brain. No, actually hyperfocus, as we describe it, right? What Berkeley calls perseverance. That's the term he uses, okay? It's a characteristic of the disorder. It's a negative characteristic. Because you should stop spending 10 hours a day programming if you're a programmer. You should stop spending 10 hours a day doing an activity you love, where you're performing well, because you have other important things to do too. So this difficulty in switching tasks from one that you're doing, which is important, to another that is also equally important. In other words, you really have a well-defined organization, is what, in fact, would define full functioning. So, hyperfocus is very latent. It's very visible in people with ADHD because you notice when you're in it. Dude, I spent 10 hours a day studying that subject. I love this subject. This subject is my hyperfocus. Actually, neurotypical people can also dive into this state of hyperfocus. It's just that it's not so different from other situations. From a boring situation to a fun situation where you enter hyperfocus. In ADHD, this is very latent. So it goes like this. So we have hyperfocus. Actually, it's not. Getting into an activity and being immersed in it for hours and hours can eventually be beneficial. Because if you're an artist and you want to create a piece, you spend hours and hours working on it. Sell art for 10,000 Rs, 20,000 Rs. Or another example you want to give. But it is part of the dysfunction of the prefrontal cortex. So hyperfocus is dysfunctional. Eventually it can help you, but it's also a dysfunction. So it's important. It's important for us to understand these concepts. Okay? Let's put it this way. ADHD. Simplified and hyperfocus, it's a video I posted about 3 or 4 months ago. In that video, I explain it in more detail. And I even include a clip from Berkeley, from his lecture, where he talks about this. Okay, so guys, it's like this. You need to have the correct concept of things. This is the reality of the facts. If you want to think that the hyperfocus you have is a gift, it makes you a superhero, a super doer, all right? If that makes you comfortable, fine, but in fact, it's not a gift of ADHD. Good, smart voice. There's a romanticization about hyperfocus because we put everything aside. I don't even eat, and I get really angry. When someone interrupts me, I keep doing what I'm focused on. That's right. I don't even like using that word romanticization because it causes arguments. The thing is this, you have to understand how the mind of someone with ADHD works. It's what I tell you, there are people who say things like this. No, because Michael Phelps. No, because I don't know what. Man, I know these are extraordinary people who have gone far. But Michael Phelps, he is a world champion and medalist in swimming for several reasons. First, he had a family that welcomed him. ADHD person has family aggressive towards them or family supportive. He was in the right place at the right time, and he found a swimming coach who said, "No, Mom, leave this boy with me. He's going to go far." He started training from Sunday to Sunday with a coach who believed in him. In other words, the environment was supportive. He also has a very good athletic build. It's obvious, because if he were a person completely unsuited for swimming, let's say, like someone who doesn't have much wingspan or is overweight, he wouldn't be a medalist. No matter how much he had ADHD, being super successful is a combination of factors. Egal. Michael Phelps had his perseverance in swimming, that hyperfocus, where he would get in there and swim for hours a day. Cool, it's a good story for you to get inspired by. But hyperfocus is part of the injury to the prefrontal cortex. It is part of the dysfunction of ADHD. So eventually, hyperfocus can help you, yes, but it's also complicated. You can spend 10 hours a day doing something and not stop to eat, not stop to go to the bank, to take care of something important, and then you miss the deadline to pay a bill. Are you understanding? That's ADHD acting up right there. So guys, it's not to discourage you. I'm not here, like in a discussion that happened the other day in another YouTube video, I'm not here to encourage or discourage anyone. I don't have the power to do that, and neither does anyone else. The only person who can encourage or discourage you is yourself. So I'm here providing information. I'm talking about ADHD. I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade. But here's the thing, you have to be consistent, because sometimes you believe that you've received a gift when it's not really a gift. Because at some point, that hyperfocus of yours is going to fail, what you call hyperfocus, and then you're in trouble because you're not getting treatment, you're not doing all the other little things that help with ADHD, you just rely on that so-called hyperfocus, which in reality isn't hyperfocus. I know exactly what you guys are talking about, hyperfocus, because I have those moments, those feelings that deep dive into something enjoyable and really going for it. The thing is, anyone can get into that state. Also, for us, it's more hot and cold. It's more discrepant, so we pay more attention to that. Okay. So guys, there's no mistake. ADHD usually gets in the way. Yes, you have to keep yourself, try to stay organized. Surround yourself with people who want to understand you and help you as much as they can. Set alarms, use apps that help you, all of that, the sum of it all, everything that will help you. If hyperfocus were the power of ADHD, you would control it and use it every day, right? But deep down, you know that's not how it works. For days you wake up determined to be more productive, but go to bed worried about having done very little. I created a method that helps me get around this. And you can also learn in the first link in the description